Onegaishimasu. I will read you something different this morning. Meditation is total attention to whatever you are doing throughout the day. If you are putting on your tie, attend to it. If you are talking to somebody, pay complete attention. In attention, there is no center as the me. Only when there is attention, only when there is no attention, there is the formation and the structure of the self, from which all sorrow, pain, and division arise. So meditation in this sense is this sense of total absence of the self. And when there is that attention, the mind becomes completely quiet, silent, without any pressure. That which is silent has vast space. Only then, that which is nameless comes into being. Then life, all life, yours and another's, all existence becomes sacred, holy. This is the meaning of life and the meaning of meditation. This is from a talk given by J. Krishnamurti in 1982 in New York City. If you don't know who Krishnamurti is, he was a very well-known, popular teacher in the late part of the 20th century. He wrote a number of books, and I happened to study him quite a bit. I really liked his teaching. Before I came to Aikido, he sounded like he's very sparse, like Suzuki Sensei with an Indian accent, kind of. I really liked him. That sounded very familiar, didn't it? Don't you think so? It sounded like our practice, don't you think? You know why it sounds like our practice? Because there's only one practice. You know, I say this all the time, I know, but like I told you once about the perennial practice. That's what it's generally called. I always think of it, or Suzuki and I thought of it like the universal practice. There's only one thing we do, and that is pay attention. And everything comes about vis-a-vis paying attention. Without attention, there's no awakening. Attention, in other words, is the vehicle that we ride on into the world of the spirit, of the mysterious unknown. As he says, the nameless arises through attention. If you don't have attention, you don't have anything. So in the beginning, and in the most advanced stage, what we call meditation is really just paying attention. In the beginning stages of paying attention, in the beginning stages of meditation, we are paying attention to things, right? Because we have a subconscious mind that is filled with lots and lots of garbage, lots of baggage, let's just say, because there's many good things and many not so useful things. So we have to deal with those. And depending on what kind of cultural situation your religion or your practice came out of, that will direct you in how you address all these things that arise for you as you learn to pay attention. But ultimately, for all of us, there has to be a time when we burn the Bible, when we set aside those dealing directly with what arises, because we learn to just sit in emptiness. In other words, this is objectless attention. It's attention with no object to it. It's just awareness, just sitting in awareness. So that's shugyo. As long as you're working with something, that's keiko. And it's very necessary and very valuable. and it must be done. But there's also Shugyo. I'm hesitating here because I realize that I'm making it sound like you go through all of this and then bam, you hit this. But it's not that way, of course. It's a whole mashugana of everything at one time. So even when I have often said, even when your attention is on working out some difficulty or learning to do something, let's say, well, putting on your tie. You can tell we don't wear ties anymore so much, but you can still be in Shugyo. You can be in this state of objectless awareness while even working on something like this. That's the amazing thing about being a human, about human beingness. Right? So we can be in the absolute universe, that which it cannot be described, while at the same time being in relative dual Keiko, Shoga, we call it, Aikido, universe. Okay, let's do some sitting. We'll begin with key breathing. So, paying attention, Krishnamurti says, is meditation, same thing. Pay attention, or Choi Sensei, paying attention is the vehicle for Kyudoshin, the way-seeking mind. How to get from here to there. But, paying attention can be misunderstood. This is why sometimes there's an objection. Even Shinichi Toi Sensei was telling me he doesn't like the word shuchuo, because it's too much like concentration. So paying attention means paying attention to everything and not isolating. Yeah, like, do you know what a stereogram is? So there used to be a very popular books, you could get stereogram books. So it's like there's a geometric design on this page, but that doesn't show any organic picture. But if you look at the whole page at once, then you can see dolphins jumping in the ocean or something like this. And it's a lot of fun, but it also teaches you how to pay attention. So this is paying attention. So this is the kind of paying attention that Krishnamurti is talking about as meditation. Not collapsing your attention down on one small thing. When you look at the stereogram, you don't see the dolphins because you're looking at the pieces of the trapezoids that are in the picture. But once you leave those alone and look at all of them at once, boom, then you see what's actually behind that representation. And that's exactly what happens when we're in meditation, paying attention in meditation. But people always ask me, or often ask, so how do I take the calmness that I get in meditation into daily life? Because I seem to lose it as soon as I go to work or go out and do things. Of course, calmness, you cannot be calm. Calmness is a side effect, and it is a side effect of paying attention. If we sit quietly for a moment, close our eyes right now, and listen to every sound in the room, outside the room. So do you notice when you're doing this, listening to everything at once, you become very calm. The side effect of paying the right kind of attention is deep calmness. So there's the answer to the question. When you're in daily life and you're talking to someone, for instance, just pay attention and you'll be very calm. When you're not calm and you're talking to someone, it's because you're not in attention. You're focusing on some small aspect of, or maybe emotional reaction to what they're saying. Try to figure out what they're saying, trying to understand something instead of seeing the whole picture. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. I see Susan Grigsby Sensei is here. I would like to welcome you to our gathering. So I've seen you the last few times. Susan Grigsby is the chief instructor in the Seattle, Washington area. Do you have something you'd like to say about this? Please, comment or question is okay.
Well, mainly I'd just like to say I appreciate being here and glad to be included. And it's nice to see so many people and people that I haven't seen for a long time. So thank you.
Okay, see them all at once.
Yeah.
Now, that's the nice thing about this. Okay, for coming and doing it. David Kaneshiro from Hilo. Can you say something, please?
Hi, Sensei. Yes, thank you for conducting class like this. It's really great. I learned something just this morning too, and that this really helps me to focus my attention, and it kind of points out my areas that I need to work on, which include both Keiko and Shugyo, and it's so it's very I guess enlightening from that point of view. So thank you very much, Sensei.
Okay, thank you. All right. How about Christophe from Belgium? Can you say something, please?
Good morning, Sensei, and good evening, other ones. Maybe I have a question you find funny. When you speak of sitting in emptiness and connect, well, and describe this as Shugyo practice, can we say that Keiko practice would be sitting on a chair? Because and sitting in emptiness is to be understood as being permanently in attention, whereas sitting on a chair during meditation practice is requiring the setup of the meditation to be in attention somehow. I don't know if I made myself clear enough.
Okay, so
sitting in emptiness, sitting on a chair. Yeah. Shugyo Keiko.
I don't know if that's apples and oranges. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not an either or situation. First of all, whether we're sitting on a chair or walking in the forest or swimming in the ocean or talking to your neighbor over the fence, it's the same, all same. You know, in Indian philosophy, they have a Sivakalpa and Nirvikalpa. samadhi. Samadhi just means paying attention and meditation, a deep state of meditation. When you're in, they call siddhakalpi, that means you have to sit still in a chair in order to experience complete attention, to be able, in our words, to rest in the one point in the lower abdomen. But in Nirvikalpa Samadhi means abiding meditation. That means that during your day, you are still resting deeply in one point all the time. You don't have to be sitting still. You can be, like I say, swimming or walking or playing a musical instrument or something, doesn't matter what, listening to someone. It's all the same. I think that's important to, I don't know, Christoph, if this exactly answers your question, but this sitting in emptiness idea means not sitting where there's nothing going on. It doesn't matter what's going on. It's resting in the one point, which is the center of everything. Everything is everything, but everything is also no thing, one thing, no separation, no division. When we divide, we lose our attention. Our attention gets sucked in or collapses down on aspects of our life. That's why the other night I was teaching about infinity. And people were having a little bit of difficulty saying, well, but there's so many things wrong. Yes, they are wrong. And you can get really wrapped up in the wrong thing if you collapse your attention down on that one thing. That doesn't mean to ignore it. Paying attention means to see more, not less. It means to see the whole picture. It actually means, in our case of meditation, it means to be the whole picture, because you are the center of that whole picture. You are it. Okay, so may I ask a Phoenix Grange from Honolulu to say something?
Thank you, Sensei. Good morning, everyone. This idea of my life right now is very busy. I'm very busy at work. Lots of opportunity to feel myself getting tense or losing one point when important things are happening. And yet, I'm much more aware that I have this opportunity. And so I can come back. I might leave again, shortly thereafter. But the idea that I can continue to return, it's such a gift. And it's a gift I can actually use. Doesn't make me any, less, it's not like everything's perfect, but I just have, it's suddenly a tool that's not theoretical.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's wonderful. I love to hear that, things like that. So actually there's something useful here for you.
Hi, Sensei.
It's very important that a lot of approaches to meditation, or kind of, you might say, the more spiritual aspects of Aikido tend to be theoretical. And we definitely want to make them. Theory is okay. We need theoretical, but we need application. We need it to be experiential, of course. Otherwise, we don't have a complete understanding, and it's not useful for us. We don't have it. There's no way for it to function in our lives. So this is really, thank you very much. That makes me very happy. Carlos Boyer, Phoenix's teacher.
Hi, Sensei. Good morning, everyone. Well, You know, so a few classes, maybe a couple classes ago, you talked about, you know, we don't do this, we don't practice this to fix things in our lives. And yet a lot of people, a lot of teachers, they talk about the state of the, you know, average human being as being in a state of neurosis and being in a state of delusion. And so meditation is supposed to maybe deal with this delusion in some way. In other words, with this neurosis that we maybe all suffer from. So how is it that it doesn't fix things, but it also deals with something that is apparently a problem? Would you care to comment on that, Sensei?
Of course, you know I would like to comment on that. Okay, so it does fix things, actually. The conundrum there is that I think that you notice that what you're commenting on is noticing that, like in a self-help book, you might be, the teacher might be, or the author might be recommending that you do something to change, to get out of your neuroses, to improve your state of mind. So it's not that this doesn't happen. Of course, neuroses rises from not paying attention. Delusion, we are deluded because we're not paying attention. When you look closely with all of your mind and body, you understand, you see. There's no more delusion. You see what's behind the screen. You see through to what actually is happening. To some degree or other, depending on your ability to pay attention. So in that sense, you can improve your situation by paying attention. So yes, there's something to do, pay attention. But this is why I always say, pay attention, keep one point means pay attention, same thing, exactly the same thing. So that's why I always say there's only one real choice to make in our practice, in our daily life, and that is to pay attention, or that is to keep one point. See, if you're not keeping one point, if you're not paying attention, then nothing is being opened or revealed to you. So it's like Krishnamurti said in that thing that I liked, that I read, you know, when you're paying attention, there's no me. There's no obsession. You're not obsessed with me. You're not obsessed with fixing yourself or improving yourself. Because it's not about yourself. It miraculously happens that you become less neurotic, but it's because you're paying attention not to self, not to your me, not to improving this small self, but you're paying attention to what's happening, what's arising. In other words, again, that's stereograph. The stereograph, you're looking at the whole picture, right? You're looking at everything at once. Okay. So I think that's we could go on and on and on about this because it's fascinating. And even as soon as we learn it, we forget it. The mind is so fragile. We are so quick to forget. It's right. Oh, all I have to do is pay attention. So we pay attention to paying attention. Someone different. Someone different, like, can I ask A German, Stephanie Janke. Would you say something, please? She looks at her boyfriend and says, oh, me, yes, you. Can you say something? Unmute yourself. We can't hear you yet. Oh, you don't have sound. Ah, well, it's nice to see you. Excuse me. Thank you. Okay, Toby Vogels, please visit us.
Good evening, Sensei. Good morning in your case, yeah. Okay, paying attention to what, Sensei? If there is nothing to pay attention to, or if you pay attention to everything, or have to pay attention to everything, then I notice that I'm looking for something. So even though I sit quietly and I'm still looking for something. So what do I pay attention to in that case?
Yeah, okay, so, you know, paying attention to the state of mind. You don't want to be tied to the object. Yes, there is subject-object in the relative condition. But when we're the kind of attention I'm talking about, the reason I use that stereograph as an example is paying attention is as a state of mind. And so when I say to everything, I don't mean to everything as an object. I mean, stop paying attention just to objects. Pay attention to this, to being here now, alive. And whatever arises then becomes a part of your world of attention instead of you picking something to focus on or to complain about or to praise or to become obsessed with. That's the end of neurosis. When we see everything as it is, we accept everything before it arises. And then as it arises, it is instantly already prior to the moment a part of us. It is us. We see everything as, at one point, means center of this universe. This is our practice. So when we're practicing paying attention, we're practicing not collapsing our attention down on something. That's key breathing, that's key meditation, that's whole body meditation. All three of those are helping us to have a universal mind, a universal appreciation, a universal attentiveness. Okay, does that help a little bit?
Till next class, I think, Sensei.
That's past time. So thank you very much, everyone. And I will see you next class. Aloha.